Hello everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be taking a look at making a brand new app. And I want to make this app it's gonna be a tutorial for people that don't know how to use code.org app lab. So I thought that maybe we can just start brand new and start learning JavaScript. So let's get started. So I want to create an app for like a sort of like counting money in a sense. Um, of course, students or college students preferably are needing to track their certain amount of money that they have for college, and of course, they may want to subtract it because of tuition, subtract it because of groceries, anything like that. Add money or add funds because they have a job and they're getting an hourly pay, something like that. I want to have a way where you can exactly know how much money you have and what you subtract or add towards that. And I think that an app might be a preferable way to keep track of this, sort of like an accounting type of application. So first, we need to figure out a name. Let's go ahead and just do CollegeFunds. I think that seems like a really good name to add. Okay. So first of all, as always with a theme, you have different types of themes that you can choose from. From those themes, it sort of pre-selects what type of design that you're going to be adding. In a sense, or in my case, I prefer choosing the classic version because I just want to design it myself and just use the standard tools I have. But of course, there are a ton of themes that you can choose from. Next, we have the properties area of the workspace. Now, we have three boxes. We have the ID, we have the background color, and we have the image. Of course, we also have events, but we're not really going to be focusing on that part. First of all, for the ID, usually I would like to say something like menu because this is going to be the first screen that you're adding. But it's usually also a nice idea if you have the ID a certain name of what that screen is trying to do. So in my case, I'm going to do menu. Now we have the background color. Background color, it really depends what color you would like. I'm going to choose black for now because I sort of want to make this like a black and white type of app or a dark theme. So yeah, and you can also add an image. Preferably when you're finding an image, try to find one that's sort of high resolution and something that where it can be stretched out. So now that we have our menu screen, I'm gonna go ahead and add our version number right here. And I'm gonna make it the text color white. There we go. Okay, so a few things on this. I usually like to stretch it out all the way to the right. This is because some phones may not be able to display it correctly. Sometimes it would look like, here, if I just typed in, this is a test message. If you notice, it's going to be like this, but sometimes on phones, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. So having it stretched out, having some sort of like responsive design on it, would be better. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and type in version 1.0. I'm going to put an I right here, or just like a line right here. And I'm going to do status, and I'm going to do beta. Usually you don't have to do this, but I want to have a way where I can track exactly what version this is. Actually, I'm going to take it to 0.0. Just so people know, like, and with the status right here for beta, I usually just want to add that because I just want to make sure that people know that the app is either being updated or not updated. There's not really a way to pause the app through code.org, but there is a way you can sort of still tell people that your app is still being updated, so they should note that some features may be a little buggy. And since this app is live all the time, then this might be a better way to tell people or tell your users that. But I'm going to go ahead and change the font size to 10. I'm not trying to make this as readable, but it's just really for developers' eyes. Okay, so we have version 1.0, status beta, all that. Maybe I want to change the font family right there. Okay, all right. So now let's go ahead and add our title right here. And I'm going to stretch it out a little, all the way probably to the right side. I'm going to add like a little bit of spacing. But right here, I'm going to go ahead and type in on the text, college funds. I'll make this times also on the font family. And I'm going to increase the font size right here. Again, you can name it whatever you want. Or if you're just using this video as a reference for other features, then really do what you would like or follow along. Okay, so I have CollegeFunds right here. And I think this actually is a good font since, yeah, I kind of like the font for this. Okay. I'm not going to add a logo. Usually when I add logos, I usually just put an image on the left side, but I'm not going to do it this time. Let's go ahead and put another text label right here. Probably a little bit to the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and do, please enter your username and password. And I'll show a way where we can auto log in. We'll see. Oh wait, I want to make it probably 12. This one's gonna be times. Okay. Okay. So how I usually like to space it, if you want to try to balance things on the left and right side, is I grab a button right here. I put it probably towards the bottom right here. And I'm going to go ahead and resize it. There we go. So we have that spacing right here. And I usually put it in the right side, and I would want to extend it right there. And that's how I would usually balance it. And I just delete that button from there since I don't really need it. I'm going to duplicate this text input because there's usually a delete or duplicate button right here. And I'm going to, I think that's a good spacing. All right, yeah. Okay, so now that we have our 3 text labels and 2 text inputs, I'm going to go ahead and actually make these, I don't really like these like sharp corners. So I'm going to go ahead and change the border radius. What the border radius does is that it sort of makes it into like a smooth corner. And that really depends on how much pixels you want to make that. So not 10, but I'll probably do 5. Can't really go wrong with 5. Okay. So right here on text input 1, we're going to have to add a placeholder. Adding a placeholder doesn't mean you're adding text in the text input. There is a way to do that though. But for the placeholder, I'm going to go ahead and just type in username. And right here on the bottom, our text input 2, I'm going to add password. And lastly, I want to add a button right here. Again, I'm going to add another button just so I can see if it's balanced. It's not, so I'm just going to extend it right here. I'll make this 5 for the button, for the border radius. And I'll just do login. And I'll make this white and the text color black. Alright, I think that seems perfect. Okay, we have that menu set up. Now, I want to actually also add a registration screen. So we're going to go ahead and type in, or not type in, but we're going to add a label right here, the bottom. Okay, spaced out. It's also nice to use like the y-axis is the y-axis, trying to see whether it's spaced out also. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add a white text color, and I'm going to do don't have an account, register here. And I'm going to go ahead and center it. Use times. Actually, I think it's better on the bottom. I'm not going to put it all... Oh, well. Actually, I think it's more better on the bottom. So that will be a text label to get to where it needs to be. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead to text input 1. And I'm going to actually change the ID because I sort of wanted to make it where it's a little more organized. So here's a cool here's a thing that you should know for JavaScript and some programming languages also. But usually when actually I'll add a text label right here just so I can show it as an example. I'll make the text color white. If let's say you're trying to name your ID oh, that's not a good one, or actually your identification, right? If you're doing something like that, then because if you notice I added a space right here because it's like a sentence, your identification period, something like that. But in JavaScript format, it's a little bit different because what you're going to do is for the first word, it's going to be lowercase. And then for the second word, it's going to be uppercase, or the first letter is uppercase. So your identification. Yeah. And it's going to be like that. That's usually the JavaScript format. So this is how you would really say it. Oh, wait. There you go. Now it's a sentence. Your identification. But in JavaScript format, you're going to see it's going to say your with a lowercase y, identification with a capital I. And there's no spaces. If in any case you do have to add, if let's say you're not used to it, then it's okay. You can it's okay if you just do this. But really, it's not really going to hurt your app in any way if you were to, let's say, just do this. But it's usually the correct format if you just want to make it like this. There you go. Something like that as your ID. So for the username, I have username input. And right here, I want to change it to password input. So now that we have this set up, I want to go ahead and add the registration screen. So I'll go ahead to new screen. I'll type in registration screen. And notice that I do the ID like the JS format. And I'm going to make it black. Put an image right here. I'm going to go ahead and go to icons. And you have a wide array of icons that you can choose from. And I don't think there's it's just the copyright one. Actually, we'll go ahead and use logos, not go back, but back. And I'm going to choose this arrow circle left. And of course, with these icons, you can actually change the color right here. But I'm going to go ahead and put it on the right side. Is that big? That should be big enough. So that will be your go back button. But we want to tell users exactly where they are. So I'm going to go ahead and go on times. And I'm going to go ahead and type in registration. Or I'll do account registration. And I'll make it white. And I'll go ahead and put make the text label the whole width of the screen. Okay, so notice that when I click the go back button, it immediately goes to label 7, which is the account registration screen, or I mean the account registration text label. So when I click it, yeah, it's not letting me go to the go back button, but there's actually a cool way to fix that. If we go all the way to the bottom right here, and you notice here on depth, you can actually click the send to the back, not the back or send backward, but the send to the back, and it sort of sends it to the back. And you can click the image without interfering with the account registration. Typically, this is a good idea to modify when you are because it does help on your apps, because maybe some users trying to click the go back button on the top, but it doesn't work. But clicking a little bit in the corner in the bottom right here, it will work. So it's a good idea to change that depth. For web designers, usually this term is z-index. We have the account registration text. We have the image that goes back. And I'm going to go ahead and type in right here, account. Or we'll do let's register for your account. I'll make that text color white and put times right here. All right. Okay, so let's register for your account. And I'm going to go ahead and add a text input. Probably put it close to the E, but not really. Oh, and I'm also going to add a button. I'll make the border radius 5. And I'll make the placeholder username. Again, I'm going to change the placeholder right here and add password. Okay. So, or wait a minute, actually. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I want to actually do the same thing I did right here. If you notice what I did right there, it's sort of like I am checking the sort of like the Y position of it. So if you look at, or if you look right here in the Y position for password, you'll notice that it's changing every 5 pixels. So that's 15 pixels like going down or getting higher. So I'm doing the same thing right here. I can always modify this. So 85, so 90, 95, and then we'll do 200. There you go. Or you could just do it where it's 1, 2, 3. Your mouse, when you hold it and move the mouse down slowly, you'll notice that it's moving down every 5 pixels. I'm gonna leave this button here because I want to resize this button right here. Okay. I'll make this a little longer. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and change the border radius to 5 pixels, and I'll just do register. And same drill. Background color is black. Text color is white. Oh, wait. I messed up on that. Background color white. Text color black. I'll just do that. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we have the registration screen and the menu screen all set up. And I think that's where I'm going to end off this video for now. Later, or in the next video, we're going to be going over the code on how to set up the menu screen and the account registration screen. So, thanks for watching.